Not long ago, I remember watching a convoy of cars driving through London. Their loudspeakers roared with threats. F the Jews. F their daughters. F their mothers. Rape their daughters. They were waving flags, but not the flags you are tonight. They were waving PLO flags. Those people who drove the length of our country from Bradford down to London, threatening to rape our women, did so, they said, in solidarity with the Palestinians. They were never tried, they were never imprisoned. And those threats, empty to some but vivid to us, did not remain words. They became actions, brutal actions. In October, Palestinian terrorists breached the border of southern Israel, and what followed was not war, but savagery. Women were raped, families shattered, children stolen. And humanity was lost that day. We gather here now not just to mourn the fallen, but to rise in defiance, not to grieve alone, but to stand together. This last year has been one of pain and exhaustion and sorrow for all of us. Yet, in this crucible of suffering, something has emerged, and that is clarity. Clarity in our purpose, clarity in our enemies, and clarity in our allies. We know who we are, and we know who we are not. We are not merely spectators in this struggle. And when I say we, I don't just mean you and me here in this street, in this city. I mean we, this nation, we, Britain. We who believe in justice, who believe in freedom, who believe in standing up to terrorism and facing down the barbarism that Israel faces from its enemies. This government should choose the courage of Winston Churchill, not the complicity of Jeremy Corbyn. This government should be strengthening the state of Israel, not emboldening Hamas. This fight, this struggle, is not just Israel's, it is ours. Our allies in Israel are the gatekeepers of the West and of our shared liberal values of freedom and acceptance. They are threatened by the same bloodthirsty, sadistic evil as we are. The same evil that struck Israel on that terrible day is the same evil that seeks to strike us. The same ideology that burns homes in Israel, burns lives here in London, in Manchester. We've seen it before, and we will see it again if we stand idly by. Our government's recent decisions and moves designed to punish our friends will come to punish us too. With that same PLO flag that they flew over their rape convoy in London, they've marched through our streets here in our country week after week and camped in our universities. They spoke not for peace, they spoke not for justice, they spoke for violence. And they called for an end to Israel from the river to the sea. They called those of us who stand proudly with Israel murderers and lovers of war. We know we are not. It's the same flag that they fly in Gaza and the same flag that they fly in Ramallah when they call there for an end to the Jewish state, doing their best or indeed their worst to achieve that goal. And yet, what has our government done? Bit by bit, step by step, it is abandoning our ally, Israel. It has forsaken our values. It resumed funding of UNRWA, an organization corrupted by its ties to Hamas. It imposed this partial arms embargo, casting Israel not as the beacon of morality that it is, but as if it were the villain in this fight. We know that it is not. These intellectual and moral pygmies have decided that in the battle of our lifetimes, they will abandon the side of morality and good. A battle which is a direct and entirely righteous one, a reaction to the worst and most bloodthirsty attack on Jews that I have ever seen in my lifetime. The danger and threat to Israel from the Palestinian terrorists in Gaza and the West Bank, the threat to Israel from Hezbollah in Lebanon, the threat to Israel from the Houthis in Yemen is the exact same threat to Britain that we saw when 15 attempts were foiled to kill people here in our country. The exact same threat to Britain that we saw when our sailors were kidnapped in the Persian Gulf. The exact same threat we saw when Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe was kidnapped, imprisoned and tortured, and we ended up having a vast amount of money extorted from us for her return. That threat is the Islamic Republic of Iran, pursuing an agenda of radical, extremist political Islam. That is with whom Israel is at war. And we are in that battle too, right here, right now, whether we like it or not. For our government now to pretend that Israel's actions are illegal or unethical, somehow wrong, is to surrender in that battle. And we must not surrender to fanatical, political, extremist Islam. It would kill in our streets. It does kill in our streets. And in the streets of Beirut, and Jerusalem, and Munich, and New York, and Paris, and Mumbai, and just about everywhere else in the world. Just to close, I have a message for those outside Britain, especially in Israel. Many Britons know exactly what this fight is truly about. We know what it is to be targeted by extremists and killed by extremists and terrorists. We will never stop telling our government exactly what we think of their decisions to turn their backs on you. We will never do that. We will stand with you in this fight because it is our fight too. And we thank you for your bravery and endurance on our behalf too. I'm Israel Chaim.
Hey!